And we are back on the Chosen Life podcast. This is not doggy time, but Ollie is back yet again. She wants to make yet another appearance, and we're going to talk about Ollie in a moment. Jonathan, Alan, you remember us from last week. We work in the field of real estate, realtor, real estate lawyer. We close deals, but we also meditate, and we also find the higher life. And Alan, having come back recently from Vipassana, I'm on my way to Vipassana. Going to be joining very shortly there. And people ask me all the time, what are you expecting? We talked about this off the air. What are you expecting from Vipassana? Why are you going there? So I'm going to tell a story with a story. Ollie's here on camera for a reason. So, little Miss Ollie here. The story behind Ollie, I adopted her 6 years ago. So the true story, everybody wanted to ever know about dogs. People love dogs and meditation. She fits in with this realm. So I have a friend, and the friend says to me, Alan, out of the blue, one day, you really should get a dog. I think you'd be loving having a dog. And I said, oh, cool. What kind of dog do you think I should get? And they said, I had a Shih Tzu, and I have Pomeranians now. But you know what? I had a Shih Tzu, great dog, doesn't shed, calm, chill dog. You would love having a Shih Tzu. I said, wonderful. I go talk to my mom, and I tell her the story because I know my mom's a big dog owner. When my dad died, my mom bought me a dog, a Cocker Spaniel. So I've always loved dogs, always been around dogs. And I said to my mom, what do you think about a Shih Tzu? She says to me, make sure it's like a white Shih Tzu. I love the look with the white and everything. They have a black, gray. I said, okay, let's see. And a week later, out of the sky, I'm having lunch with a friend of mine and a common friend we know. And the friend says to me out of the blue, hey, out of curiosity, do you want a dog? And because my dog, we're looking for somebody, we can't handle our dog. We need to have the dog adopted. Would you want to adopt my dog? And I look at him and I said to him, is it a Shih Tzu by chance? He said, yes, it is. No word of a lie. We're at a patio. We're having lunch. And then 2 minutes later, the dog appears. Somebody's walking the dog. And I look at the dog. I look at her. She looks at me. I look at him. I said, guess I'm going to have a dog then. The universe told me it's happening. Now, Shih Tzu, she has a little white tuft. Not every Shih Tzu has it, by the way. I've done this research. Why does she have the little white tuft? I think we talked about this at the dog park, but do you know why Shih Tzus have the white tuft if they have it?
I don't know.
Would you like to know?
Sure.
So, a Shih Tzu with a white tuft, it is called the Buddha's kiss or the Buddha's touch. The folklore is that the Buddha bred the Shih Tzu. That's why they're so chill, and they bless them with the kiss or the touch, and that's how this signifies that it's the Buddha dog. So my doggy is a Buddha dog, and apparently I was meant to go to Buddhist temples and meditate and find life. And so you see, it was one of those things that I didn't expect, but the universe spoke to me, and I learned how to listen. So one of the biggest questions I get as I tell people about the folklore that I'm about Vipassana, and then I want to experience it, what do you expect? What do you want to get out of this? So carrying on our conversation from last week, as you were heading into Vipassana, did you make a list of expectations? Did you have set goals for yourself, Alan?
Not really. I mean, I try to go in without any expectations because obviously, there's a chance of failure if you do that. And also, I like to be open and just really accept what comes to me.
So that's great reasoning to be very meditative Buddhist mindset. I'll share with you my goals, which I think are not really goals, but it may sound kind of funny. So as part of my book, I talk about in part 3 what I call the road to enlightenment. You learn about, in part 1 of my book, I talk about in the Bible 3.0, the body, mind, and soul, and learning how they all interact with each other. Then part 2 is building the life systems, exercise, nutrition, sleep, water, yoga, meditation. Taking care of your body, mind, and soul, and getting into good routines, good life systems. I'm a big believer in those. And then you can work towards the road to enlightenment, manifestation, embracing failure, letting go, channeling your gifts, all this good stuff. So I tell myself, this is a destination that I'm going to on the road to enlightenment. And as long as I'm alive, I'm not passing away, all I see is the road ahead is just a journey now. Now it's just a journey. There's no real destination, just a journey. But apparently on the journey, I need to pass through Vipassana. And I'm going in with only one real goal on this road to enlightenment. I'm just going to be for once in my life, really once in my life. Like when I go to yoga, I put away my phone. I have no contact with the outside world. I'm just being. But I'm also following the instructor's instructions. I'm thinking about the movements I'm doing. I want to go for 10 days and literally just be. I don't have a goal. I don't have an expectation. I don't want to achieve anything. I don't know what I'm going to be like during the process. I don't know what I'm going to be like after the process. I just want to let go of the outside world. I don't want to think about the outside world, and I just want to be. Be. Like literally like time is standing still and be. Is that realistic?
It could be. I mean, I know it's really hard, especially now. I mean, we live in such a fast-paced world, and I mean, it's nice to actually having that opportunity where you just kind of like slow down and just like let things happen, and it's a nice way to actually bringing kind of calmness and like a nice state to yourself.
You know, when you look at your iPhone or your Android and it tells you on a Monday or Sunday, the report, you've been on your phone for 4 hours a day, 8 hours a day, whatever it being. You know, mine is like 3 to 4 hours, depending what it says. It's gonna be awesome to get the report, and the report will say 0 hours averaged. That's gonna be the best. Now, in visualizing, we talked about, coming there and what we expected and how the process was. One of the first things I was curious about, and I know we talked about off air a little bit, but I'd love to share this with the audience. So the part I think is going to be most interesting for me, at least, it may have been for you, is you're at the last day now. The morning has come, it's checkout time, and people are now conversing with each other. And in my mind, I pictured everybody in silence,
Yeah.
nobody remembering how to talk, nobody wanting to talk, and you kind of just leave in silence and maybe talking as minimally as possible for the next few days until finding the urge to want to talk. But then talking to you, I'm understanding there's like people that it's almost like they're holding it back, and the second they got and they like when. So, which camp were you in? How did you feel at the end of Vipassana? Were you talkative, not talkative? How were other people, and how was that adjustment?
Well, actually, the Noble Silence ends on day 10, just before dinner. Actually, before dinner, they had another presentation to talk about their facilities and how how it came to be, and after that, like the silent meditation ends, and it was just really like everyone was just like chatting away, and it was just for me it was a little bit overwhelming, like after being like in silence or in quiet for like 10 days. So it was definitely really interesting experience to come from like one side of the spectrum to the other. So it was really it's a really interesting time, because like for me it was just like I almost felt like I was like really shaking, because it's just like a different like state, from being like not non-social to being very social, and everyone's like wanting to share their experience and stuff. So, yeah.
Do you recall a movie back in the day, Val Kilmer? I think it was called At First Sight, when he was blind, and then they performed a miracle surgery on him, and he was able to see again, and his experience with the world after not seeing.
Oh, yeah, that was a long time ago. I
Many,
remember,
many moons ago, right?
Yeah, I remember that movie. I don't. Well, I remember of that movie, but I don't remember the details of that movie.
So the reason I tell you is because he doesn't have his sight, gets his sight back, and what does he tell the doctor? Take it away. I don't want to see this anymore. I remember, Alan, I was a lifelong sufferer with sinus issues, and I had no sense of smell really, and eventually they gave me a sinus surgery. It was for polyps. I was in my early 20s, and all of a sudden now I can smell for the first time. I have no sense of smell my whole life, and now I'm smelling for the first time. I'm driving through downtown Toronto. I'm going through my favorite restaurants. My response after 2 days with this smell was, take it away. I don't want this anymore. I was very used to having no smell. Things don't smell that amazing, actually. And why I'm saying that is because knowing myself after thinking about that Val Kilmer movie and thinking about myself with the smell, once I'm not talking, I don't know I'm going to want to ever talk again. I think I'm going to really enjoy the silence. Like, I presume now, after having experienced Vipassana, do you find you have more silent time to yourself? Do you more appreciate silent time? Like, how has the adjustment been that way?
Well, I always enjoy my own like me time and my moments of solitude before that, but I think I appreciate it even more afterwards. I would say like after actually getting back home after the Vipassana retreat, it was definitely overwhelming, and it felt like I was gone for like months because I was catching up on like on texts and messages and media and even like watching the news, and I can't believe like so much that went on while I was gone. There was like the wildfires of California, and Trump just got inaugurated, and it was just like really a lot. And for me, I yeah, it was really overwhelming, and I actually had to turn off a lot of my devices and just having like more time to actually not deal with all that stuff.
I had a guest on previously a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about the idea of the dumb phone and the idea that we're so into the smartphone. And he brought the idea that you don't get rid of your smartphone, but you can duplicate the SIM electronically, and you can have two of the same phone. One is a smartphone, one's a dumb phone. The dumb phone only being for phone, text message, maybe emails. That's it. No other real players. And he's been doing a lot of research to this, hasn't found yet the perfect, because the form factor was the most important for him, form factor and everything else. And I challenged him, if you find the perfect dumb phone, I will join the challenge with you. I'll get my own dumb phone, and for 3 months I'll do it, and on the weekends just dumb phone it. I think it's gonna be bliss, man. Like, you know what? I remember being in like the year 2002, it was, when my workplace insisted that I put work emails on my phone. So we were just starting into the smart devices, and I still didn't even have a smartphone. I had a smart pager. The first BlackBerry, folks, was not a phone. It was a pager. So I had a smart pager, and they were telling me, on your smart pager you can get emails. I really think you should get emails. And I looked at my boss and I said, I think this is the worst idea ever. You know what? I don't want to be connected 24/7. I feel like being connected, it's never going to end. I like the fact that I leave the office, and if I want to check emails at home, I will. But I don't want to be that connected. I noticed you don't have an Apple Watch on. I don't have an Apple Watch.
No.
I don't want to be that connected, man. I don't want to be reached 24/7. I like some me time. Like, it's got to end at some point. And this is where I think part of it, I understand the benefits of it and being more productive, especially we're in real estate with clients. It's hard to disconnect. But I think people understand, like, you can take a night off, you can take the weekend off, you can go on vacation. It's actually okay. I think we are now going the other way, where there's more acceptance. You know what? There's got to be work-life balance, and there's dedicated time for work, and you can disconnect. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Do you find that like your colleagues, like other people in real estate, are moving towards that realm as far as more disconnection, or people are more and more connected? Like, how are you finding for generally in your circle, I guess?
Yeah, I would say with some of my colleagues, we all work. We don't have weekends, so we work pretty much like day, night, weekends, whenever. So we pretty much make our own, free time. So definitely, we need to actually make time for ourselves to actually maintain a healthy lifestyle.
Could we have a little more therapy? Would that be okay?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I appreciate that, because I will tell you, I have really, okay, I'm going to admit this now. I do have one hang up on Vipassana and my one dreaded moment. Now, you got very lucky, my friend, in my estimation. You had a room to yourself. You didn't have a roommate. Some people have roommates, right?
Yes.
But when you have a roommate, you're not allowed to talk to your roommate.
Yeah.
You can't look at your roommate. So now you're sitting in silence in the room with this other person that you can't look or talk to. What if they snore? What if they're weird sleepers? That takes away from the meditation time. I'm actually dreading if I'm going to get a roommate. I'm really hoping I get my own room. Is that human? Like, did you think about that before Vipassana?
Not really. I mean, I wasn't too sure, like how many like single rooms I have or double rooms. So I mean, that was not really. That was pretty much in the back of my mind, but it wasn't really a concern. But I understand, like, it could be very awkward because we're social beings, and if you're stuck with a roommate, you tend to want to kind of be on, chat with each other.
So, like, I hope they don't do me. No killing.
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna find out. But yeah, that's my one hang up that I'm thinking. You know what? It's also when we're used to sleeping on our own and having our spaces at home. Part of the thing of meditation, lifestyle, balance, I talk about in the book about this whole nighttime routine. When you decide to lay out your clothes for the next day, get your food ready, prepped, brush your teeth, change into jammies, wind down, maybe read a book. That solitude time, that wind down at the end of the day, going into the next day is really, really key. When all of a sudden now there's a stranger in the room while you're trying to do that winding down, not so easy. Plus, we're not going to Club Med here. It's not that we're going to be going to doing pool aerobics at like 10 o'clock in the morning. The gong, and it is a gong, goes off 4 a.m.
Yes.
4 a.m. we start the day to start meditating, and lights out to bed what time?
I would say it's like 9:30 or 9:30.
9:30. I thought it was 8:30 for some reason, but
No, I think the last meditation ends at 9.
okay, so that's pretty reasonable. So I was thinking we're going to bed at 8 o'clock. Okay, so this is good because I usually go to bed around 11 to midnight. So but I like waking up around 7 o'clock in the morning. So now the gong goes off at 4 in the morning. You're going till about 9:30. And I'm used to eating 4 to 5 meals a day. They're usually very small in quantities, but I have a specific schedule. I eat every 3 hours. If I have my personal trainer, it's 5 times a day. And if not, 4 times a day. I'm not going to be eating 4 or 5 times a day over there, am I?
No.
And there's no bringing my own protein coffee, not bringing protein bars, not going to bring my own snacks. You ain't bringing your own food, are you?
No, I mean they really limit you on what you can bring there. So you pretty much bring your clothes, your toiletries, and your linens, and that's it.
And a pillow.
Yeah,
And you're allowed to bring a clock, but not a smart clock.
sure. Yeah,
And you're not bringing any of your own food. And you get breakfast, you get lunch. For dinner, you get tea.
you have tea and fruit in the afternoon.
Oh, you get fruit.
Yeah.
Excellent. So we're kind of eating 3 times in the day. That's it. Last meal's at what time?
Last meal, yeah, fruit and tea. They serve that at 5.
5 p.m. So this is like the Fort Lauderdale special, early bird special at the Denny's. You're eating dinner at 5 p.m. You're done, and you start. And breakfast is what time?
Breakfast, I believe it's 6:30.
So we're getting a good 13, 14-hour fast going for intermittent fasting. We're done eating at 6, 5, 6, depending on what time we start, what time we finish. I gotta say, man, and another thing, you're looking at this. First of all, you're getting calmness in your life. You're getting happiness. You get to just be. You're getting a detox as well, right? Accommodations provided for you. You bring your pillow, your toiletries, your linen, your clothes. So now they're serving you there for 10 days, serving you the meals, meditation. Man, they got to be charging what, like $5,000 a pop for this lovely retreat? Plus, you're getting a detox. So was it what, 7,000?
No, actually, it was free.
It's what?
It's free. Yes.
It's free?
Yep.
I'm not paying for this?
Nope.
So they're bringing you to this lovely retreat and taking care of you and giving you spirituality and awareness, feeding you, detoxing you, and you pay nothing.
Yeah. Actually, you could make a donation or even donate your time afterwards, but it's at your discretion.
And one thing I noticed, so I tried setting up a couple times. Every time it was wait list, it was sold out, full. And then I had to read the fine print, realizing, so they tell you in advance, right? There's a website. It tells you all the courses, tells you what kind of courses, what days they are. If it's a 10-day, 3-day, 1-day, 20-day, they make it very clear. If you've never done this before, you have to do the 10-day. There's no choice. They tell you what time the system opens up. Sorry, what day the system opens up. And if you read the fine print, it's 6 a.m. That's when the window on the computer opens. So I didn't realize the 6 a.m. thing. I'm with Ollie. I'm on vacation. Ollie's not feeling too well. She ate something, didn't agree with her. She woke me up at 7 in the morning on vacation. I run to the computer after I take care of her, realizing the window has opened up. So we are now in December, trying to sign up for March. And one of the first things at 7 a.m., the women are already on a wait list. The men is open. So I go to register immediately. By 11, 12 o'clock, the men have moved to the wait list. Women is full, no wait list anymore. And by 5, 6 p.m., the men is now closed. So interesting little tidbit as I'm learning, and I don't know if you found the same thing looking at the list when you did it. Women sign up a lot quicker and fill up a lot quicker than the men.
That's true. Yes. Hmm.
I would have thought the exact reverse, and you never know. There must be something to this that in Vipassana, women are gravitating more to be there and are signing up quicker than the men.
Hmm.
So women are seeking more enlightenment than men.
I guess so. Yeah.
So we had our group in yoga. I call them the brogies, the brothers that do yoga. Brogies, we need to tell Vipassana in our lives.
Hmm.
I think that's the routes that we have to go. Now, completing the 10-day, once you complete the 10-day, you can now sign up for a 1-day, a 3-day, a 20-day. Alan, where do you see your future going? What, you going to do a 20-day one day?
Not too sure about the 20. I know it's it's a very big commitment, and I don't know if I could be away from like everything for that long.
Yeah.
But I will definitely, like sometime in the future, maybe do like a shorter, like 1 or 3 day, maybe just as like a refresh.
Well, I'll leave it open. You have time to decide this. But for our Miracle 70th, if you want to register together and go for the 20-day, I think I'll be game around then. Now, I will be 68, turning 69 at that point. You'll be 70. You'll look about 30 at this point. But I'm thinking by 70, what do we really got to lose at this point? So I'm thinking 70 is going to be the ideal age for the 20.
Yeah.
But it's really nice to be able to do a 1-day, 3-day refresh, not to have to do the 10 days. So that's one of the things I know is a big benefit. Once you do the 10-day, you can go do 3 days. So I'm really looking forward to that. You were meditating beforehand. You had a meditation practice before Vipassana. How has your meditation practice evolved since Vipassana?
I would say I'm able to meditate for much longer. Before I went to do Vipassana, I would meditate, pretty much daily in the morning, like, 10, 15 minutes. Sometimes I would do like, deep meditation. The longest I've done at home would be for an hour, but I've only done that just like a handful of times. While at the Vipassana like retreat, you're pretty much like meditating 10 times a day, or sorry, 10 hours a day.
10 hours a day, not 10,
but
10 hours.
But not straight. I mean, it's in like they break up in sections, and so it ranges anywhere from like an hour and a half to maybe like 2.5 hours. So in the beginning, it was it's definitely difficult to actually sit still for that long, but I would say like midway through, I became more comfortable, being in that state.
Amazing. And I hope people listening to your story, first of all, just to say that I'm going to Vipassana and I'm feeling really good about the situation. Seeing you, you've gone, you've come back, you're you, an even calmer version of you, a happier version of you. And I'm like, wow, there's hope for me here. And so I'm getting really excited. And there are people that have meditation practices like me, like you, that were thinking about Vipassana and held off for whatever reason. Some people never heard of Vipassana, might be very interested in this concept of taking a 10-day break. But then there are people that maybe have never meditated in their lives and have said, wow, meditation's never for me. I think we're to say goodbye here, come back next week, and maybe help those people start thinking about a meditation practice that, man, you know what? You want to break through barriers, you want to improve your life in every respect, meditation might be a good place to start. Alan Wong, Jonathan Hacohen. We'll be back next week. Chosen Life Podcast.